everyone, this is Senna.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings. And today we are taking a look at Flotilla.
Which is a game from Wizkids designed by J.B. Hubble and Michael Mihilsik.
It plays from 3 to 5 players in 90 to 150 minutes.
So Flotilla, this was a game that I just heard a little bit about by some people in the board game industry, namely Derek Funkhauser of Board Game Spotlight. This is his number one game from this year.
Okay, cool.
He has said that for half a year and I think he still stands by it. So I was excited about it. I read the rules. It seemed like a different take on Concordia, basically. And I was intrigued. It was Wizkids. A lot of people don't like Wizkids for their components and stuff, but I think the components here are good.
Yeah.
So that's the components for this game. But this is a game. It's set in kind of a water world, apocalyptic world, where people have made this Flotilla, which is a city on the water, a water city. And what you're doing in this game is that you're playing a card and doing the action, like you are in, for example, Concordia. And this has a lot of similarities to Concordia. So you play a card and you do an action, and these actions might be you will move around your boats, you will dive for resources, you will sell the resources to buy more boats, you will try to score points by building outposts, which lets you score different scoring tiles, and so on. So you are trying to gather points. But the really interesting, unique thing in Flotilla, which got me intrigued, a lot of people intrigued, is that when you play the captain, which is you taking up all your cards and getting some coins, you can then decide to flip over everything you own. Your cards, your boards, your tiles that you have placed, everything, flip it over, and you are now in the sky side. You have moved into the city, and you basically play a completely different game. So now you will get a lot more money. You have to buy your resources. You cannot die for them anymore. You will get points for building buildings. You will try to build up the solar, which will be influencing how the people in the sink side and it's sky side, and you will influence. There's a lot of interaction between those two, and that was the thing that was super interesting with this game. First of all, before we can play the game, we need to read the rulebook.
Yes.
So the rulebook here is, let's see how many pages, like 15, 16, 17, 18 pages. And this rulebook wasn't so good. It was okay, but you remember the first time we played, I was like, you asked a question, I was like, no idea. Had to try to find it in the rulebook, couldn't find it in the rulebook. It has some, I don't remember examples, but it is some things that doesn't really get explained really well. And a lot of things that ended up me getting confused. I think we played mostly right the first time we played, and the other time we played, I think we the other times I think we played it pretty much correctly. But there is like a lot of things to like, why couldn't that just be explained? And that's always irritating. So not the best rulebook, but there is sources to learn to play this game, so you will be able to play it.
Yeah, this is actually one of the few games that I've tried to teach.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and I'm kind of rusty because this is not it's not something I do, but it actually went okay.
Yeah.
There were some times we had to check in the rule book, like I don't remember how this went, how was that again, and I remember there was one rule that we missed completely. But other than that, like having some problems with some of the rules in the rule book, it was really nice to teach actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to explain the sink side and then explain the sky side, and then people do so much on the sink side the first game that they kind of forget how the sky side rules were. But yeah, you get around that after your first play.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of like the biggest hurdle of the game is you have to teach basically two different sets of games, and then you do the first one and you're like, no idea what's going on. So people, because of the Wizkid games, I heard a lot of people saying like, oh, will the components be bad? I think the component here is good.
Yeah.
There's really nothing about the components where I felt like, oh, that was horrible.
No, I don't feel like that is an issue in this game at all.
No.
I think they've done a nicely job with the player components. We have these cute little boats that are unique for everyone.
Yeah, that's cool.
Kind of cute.
Yeah, I like it.
And also the cardboard tokens,
cards is
fine.
good stock. Yeah,
it's fine.
I think it's good. I think the components quality is good. A lot better that people would be like, ooh, how is the component quality? I think the artwork looks good. I think everything
Yeah.
looks nice. It's an intriguing game to look at.
Yeah, and it's not confusing to look at it at all. It becomes like lots of tiles in the ocean after a little while, but it's now doubting which tile is which and what belongs to what.
Okay, so we have played this 4 players and 3 players.
Yeah.
We have not played 5, and I don't really think I would need to play 5 because it's a longer game, and
Yeah.
usually maximum amount is just adding more time without adding a lot of interaction. It might be fun with 5 players who have played the game sometimes. The first time we played took 3.5 hours, which is way too long,
Yeah.
and that was because we spent a lot of time looking in the rules and 4 new players, and that is
Yeah.
basically that. I think we could have played it maybe in 3 hours if it wasn't for that.
Yep.
And the second time we played 4 players, it took 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
A
It
bit.
felt much faster.
Yeah,
at
and,
least.
and we played 3 players and took 1 hour and 45 minutes.
That was really neat.
And it felt really boom, 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 which is one of the things I think this game should be.
Yeah.
Which, like, because it is a lot like Concordia. It has really taken a lot of its ideas from Concordia. When you play a card and do that action, and those actions are a bit bigger than the Concordia actions, and so it will take a bit more time. But the time I had most fun playing it was the last time I played with 3 players, and it felt like when my turn, I knew what I was going to do. You can plan like 4 or 5 turns in a row. I like to do that in Concordia. This is one of those kind of games. I know, okay, I need to do this, and then maybe you do something, so I have to stock it around, shuffle it around, but then I just do that action and I know what I could do. So that is when I like this the most, when it flows. So the first time it might feel super long to you, but believe me, it's going to be quicker.
Yeah, the last time we played it, it kind of opened my eyes to how like the playtime realistically can be when you play this a lot of times. That's nice.
So, what do you think about the weight for this game?
I think it's not super heavy.
No.
It's the first time you play it, it's a little bit of a hurdle because it's 2 games that you have to learn, and maybe you aren't even going to touch one part of the game.
Yeah.
And that's could be a little confusing, but when you get that, it's no problem at all. Actually, you have these interesting transition decisions that you have to do. Do you want to
Transition decision,
Yeah.
that's kind of a wrap.
do you want to go sky side, and when should you do it, and are the others thinking the same? What scorings are you going for? Are those in the sinks, are those in the sky side? That's really interesting, but it's not a super heavy game.
No, I would say it's a medium game. Like
Yeah.
there is a lot of stuff to try to do, but it is
That's a short answer. I
Yeah.
was just like babbling about.
yeah, but that's it's board gaming rambling. It's not board gaming short answers.
Yeah, that's
That's not really a good name for a channel either. Board gaming short
Short
answers. It's like, is the game good? Yes, 8. Done. That's like the
Yep.
review. So the replayability here I think is pretty good because there's a lot of different gold tiles.
Yeah.
And you can try to kind of like one game you maybe go sky side in the beginning and you play all the game in sky side. Another game you don't do it at all, and maybe you try to see like how would it feel to play 3 rounds and then going like there's a lot of different things you can do.
Yeah.
And the different scorings makes you focus on different things.
Yeah.
So I think that the replayability is pretty high.
Yeah, and it also depends on all the new cards you're getting
Yeah.
because they do special things,
Yes.
and maybe you get a really cool combo with 2 cards, and the other time you're just going for like all the diving and stuff, and sometimes you're going heavy into trading. I think that's cool. I think there is plenty of replayability here.
So we talked a lot about all of these things, but the most important thing is the game fun? Did we like it?
Yeah, this kind of feels like an experiment, and it kind of is because because this is really unique for a game.
Yeah, I haven't seen this been done.
And it's so cool that I've tried to do
Yeah.
something like it. And when I play it also, I feel kind of like I'm experimenting with my strategy because it feels so different from what I've played before.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I think this game will be at its most fun when you play with it. When you're just like, oh, now I'm going to do something totally different because I can't just stay in the sink side and focus on that one. I think, it feels, when you get that view of it, I feel like the game has a lot of potential.
This game grew on me. Like the first time, I thought it was okay. That might have was of course also because it took so long, but I didn't really the gameplay didn't really grip me. It wasn't anything that was like, oh, this is so cool. And then the other times we played, the last time was the most fun. As I said, I started to feel like the game is flowing and it's fun. I'm unsure, like for me, if there's enough in it. There's like so much there. There's like a lot of interactions, but basically everything comes down to racing to the goal tiles.
Yeah.
Because that's where you get lots and lots of your points. Most of it you have, especially in the sky side, you have some other ways to get some decent points. But other than that, you go for the goals. And the game is basically transitioning from being you build up, build up, build up, and it's just like a race to when somebody starts to do them, you have to start doing them as well, and then the game ends. And I like that. Like I like those kind of games that you have to think how much am I building up, and then when am I transitioning to getting points.
Yeah.
I like that, but I feel maybe that the game is. I would have liked it to be kind of more, especially in the sync side. There's really not any more ways to get a lot of points there. In the sky side, there is a couple of ways to get quite a good, decent amount of points for building and for doing the sauna track. You get quite a few points for building in the sky side. In the sync side, there's basically only the goals. So I do feel like it's easier to get points in the sky side.
Yeah, this game is really interesting.
It is. There's so much. We have spoken a lot about this game.
Yeah.
Because it is a lot of interesting things here.
We've both tried staying the whole full game in
Sync
Sync
side,
side and transitioning to Sky side.
Yes.
And there's definitely, I think, advantage being the only person who has transitioned to the Sky side,
Yes.
or being the only person left in the Sync side.
Yeah.
I think that balancing that could be tough, especially when introducing it to new players, because it's really easy to make mistakes there, and that's really powerful for the other players. And as you said, just to explain that, the game ends when the pool of points are gone, so you have to get your move on fast to get those points.
Yeah.
And when you transition to this Sky side, all of your tiles disappear. You have to build up anew. And I think that the balance, like the opportunity to get points good enough in the Sky side.
Yeah.
But being lots of people in Sync side can be really hurtful.
Yes.
Because then you don't get any money for the
because the fluctuating market.
Yeah.
If the market goes down, because you probably won't pull it up because you won't buy resources on your side.
You are absolutely dependent on the Sky side people to buy your resources so that you can sell them for a higher price.
Yes.
That's the only way you're going to get money fast enough to get those points fast enough. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
But the thing is that this is what makes the game interesting.
It's so
because
interesting.
There is so much interaction, and not just like player interaction, but interaction between the two sides.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I like the most. That's like the thing, if I would play this, it's because of that. That's like the super cool thing. That you have that interaction on so many levels, on the market, on the sauna track, on everything. If I get points on Sky side, it means that you will do something better on Sync side. And all of that is super interesting. And that is the coolest thing about this game. And I just, it's hard to play it. And especially, as I said, with new players, because you don't know that feeling.
Yeah.
And I feel like, it's hard. It's like the thing, that's the thing I like the most, and the thing I like the least is that you go for those scoring tiles. And if you go heavy for that, and a new player is like trying to build up something, and then you start scoring, he might be too late, because you can just continue scoring. If you have a way to get money, you can buy more
ocos. Also this was a huge issue in our first game, because the rules wasn't entirely clear for us.
Yeah.
Because we have decided in our brains that it was differently, because you can choose. The scoring tiles, they get worse and worse, but the baddest scoring tile, the worst, it stays there.
Yes.
And you can score it. Me, as one player, I can score that how many times that I want. So I could just, in the beginning of the game, say, I'm going to go for that. And just,
do big time.
And you have to be somewhat flexible, because it depends on what tiles you draw and how the other guys are playing, if they transition or not. But I really expected it to be like the game forcing you to have different legs to stand on.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that.
I kind of feels like it does, because I think if you only do one,
Yeah.
because they get like a lot worse. Like the first one is really good.
Yeah.
So if it's still another first one, you probably just by playing the game, you probably get more points by taking that. So it hasn't happened that anybody's just gone for one. I maybe scored one like twice because nobody had scored it. So I got like
I went for that the second time we played.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
only scored one scoring tile.
So you can do
and I
that.
won like massively, but I was the only one on Sky side with
Yeah.
3 just new players, and yeah, I did great. The others did not so great because they had to sell their stuff for like 1 penny each or
But
something.
I think that's also like a bigger problem if you play with new players,
Yeah.
of course, because they haven't seen the exploits, they haven't seen that. But I feel like that is the weakest point of the game.
Yeah.
I think we have rehashed probably most of the things we want to say.
Yeah, I think
Is there anything
so.
you want to add before we go to final thoughts?
No, I think we're in final thoughts. Do you want to start?
I can start this time. I wasn't really like super hyped for this game because I didn't know too much about it. I read the rulebook. I liked what I read. I enjoy the game. There's so much cool stuff here. I don't know if it's going to be a game that I will suggest to play. I want to keep it. I want to keep it in the collection because it is so different. It is still fun. It's a game I like the idea of being able to play, like we have talked about earlier. I do want to play it again, but I don't know when. But I liked it. I did enjoy it, especially this last time we played it, because it went so quickly. And it needs to be that for me. It needs to be a game where it's my turn, I do boom, do that action, next player's turn, boom, do that action, and you
Like
do...
that, boom.
It's you have to do that, like boom, throw it on the table and be like, boom, and I'm doing my action.
Yeah.
Boom, chakalaka. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, but it's not one that's gonna be high on some lists. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5. It is a very
cool.
good game, but not top tier.
Yeah, I think they really hit the nail on the head with what they're trying to do. I think it's really cool that they're doing such a unique thing.
Yes.
And I think it's really brave because that's a beast to balance.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they've done a great job with it. I think also the things that I like the most that makes this game unique is also what my brain is struggling a little bit with. And that balancing, I think it will show its true face if we play it like with 5 players. If we play a game where 2 stay in the sink side, 2 in the sky side. That
Yes.
hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But still, that balancing is a little issue to me, and that makes me kind of not fall in love with it.
Yeah.
So I'm also going to give it a 7.5.
But that is a high rating.
This is a really interesting game, and I think I'm super excited that it even exists.
So that's it.
Yeah.
That's the end of the video.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
And I'm Senva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.